Prime Minister Mark Carney is unveiling Canada's priorities for the G7 summit, set to take place in Kananaskis, Alberta later this month. Carney says his government will seek and coordinate action on three core missions: protecting Canada and the world with strengthened peace and security, building energy security and accelerating the digital transition, and securing partnerships to open new markets and generate investments in infrastructure. And CTV's Jeremie Charron joins us now with more from Ottawa. Jeremie, good to see you this evening. So what are the details of these core missions of G7 the Prime Minister shared today?
Yeah, actually, as you touched on, the Prime Minister outlined those three key pillars, and I think they're all kind of as expected. If you look at what Prime Minister Mark Carney has been focusing on, and if you look at what the G7 leaders collectively have been faced with in a changing geopolitical landscape, we're talking about three key pillars that focus on things that address concerns for a lot of these G7 nations: protecting communities and the world. This is highlighted and explained as something that will happen through strengthening peace and security, countering foreign interference, all things that are very familiar and will make a lot of sense to Canadians. The second pillar is building energy security and accelerating the digital transition. When you look at energy security, I think that is, again, a topic of conversation Canadians are very familiar with right now. And there is a lot of talk about Canada's energy security and the role energy can play in protecting this country and in our country's security. And in terms of accelerating digital transition, we've already seen this government take a strong position on the use of AI, artificial intelligence, and technology to make advancements. And so that, is no surprise. And that third pillar is securing the partnerships of the future. And that is kind of one that makes a lot of sense for all of the G7 leaders. And I think that is something that will be at the heart of conversations here, given the trade war that Donald Trump has started. And of course, President Donald Trump will be present during this G7. So I think this will be an opportunity for all of those leaders to discuss what the global landscape, the global trade landscape looks like moving forward in the face of these changes that have been brought upon all of these nations thanks to U.S. President Donald Trump, Akshay.
Right. There is something else I want to draw our attention towards is the first point, the core mission that talks about protecting our communities and the world, which also has detailed further saying that countering foreign interference, Jeremie. Now, on one end, we're talking about countering foreign interference. On the second end, the Prime Minister has gone ahead and invited Prime Minister Modi of India. Our intelligence has said India is one of those countries that is allegedly involved in foreign interference. Your take on the response this invitation is garnering from several groups in the country?
Yeah, absolutely, Akshay. We've seen a lot of pushback, from Sikh activist groups about this decision, not only for what you just highlighted, which is that, it is alleged that India is one of the countries that has taken part in foreign interference in our electoral system. But beyond that, the Indian government is still part of an ongoing RCMP investigation for the killing of a Canadian on Canadian soil, Hardeep Singh Nijjar in British Columbia. And so that has caused a lot of pushback, a lot of concern. The Sikh community has raised concerns about Canada extending an invite to Prime Minister Modi to this G7 meeting. The government has defended its position, saying that the two are separate. The list of invitees to the G7 and the priorities that will be discussed at the G7 make it as such, they say, that India should be at that table, that India should be part of those discussions, because India is such a large economy. It's such a quickly growing economy and country. And so it only makes sense for them to be part of some of those big discussions at the G7 table. At the same time, Canada is saying that the RCMP investigation can continue, and the RCMP investigation cannot and should not be impacted by the fact that this invite has been extended. That is the government's position. There has been a lot of pushback, again, from the Sikh community and from a Liberal MP today. I spoke with Sukh Dhaliwal today, who is a current Liberal MP in BC. His riding is where this killing happened. And he is opposing this move. He says that, this sets a bad precedent and is sending a bad message to the Indian government.